You take your favorite chocolate. This is with cocoa content of 62% to 70%, right? Somewhere this is a rich, semi-sweet, bittersweet chocolate. You chop it up fine, somewhere in the area of 2 parts chocolate, 1 part heavy cream. Bring it to a boil, right? You don't want to boil it away and break up the quality of the cream. In this case, I put about a teaspoon of corn syrup in it, right? And then here, I'm going to just take the hot cream and corn syrup.
That's himself.
What blog are you representing?
You don't want to add.
I can't say it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a family event.
I just had a food memory when I was close to the Strata. We were actually in Tom's kitchen in Connecticut a couple of weeks ago, where we actually created a video of him making the Strata. So we don't have it alive on our microsite yet, but we've got a microsite coming out that's the baker's table that you'll be able to find. And but we'll actually, so if you're interested, if you thought that was a fun recipe, there'll actually be sort of a how-to with the recipe next to it that you'll be able to share with folks if you're interested. Sorry, I realized I was like, I was asleep at the wheel. I was like, wait a second, yeah. The video. It says not live. Not yet. It's coming. No, you guys are the preview. So November 1 we get it. It all comes to fruition.
All right. So this is a chocolate ganache. You could then cool it down a little bit, pipe it out, or scoop it with a small scoop and make chocolate truffles, roll in tempered chocolate, or whatever. Great. It's real simple. You can put a little alcohol in there, like Grand Marnier or Framboise, which is raspberry, frangelic, or something like that. But you want to ensure that you let it sit, stir it so it melts completely, right? And then so I'm going to be using that over here. You see it's already made there. And I'm using that for a filling inside this sweet bread called babka, right? Which is traditionally a, Russian, Polish, somewhat decadent bread. It wasn't really what we've turned it into here, but it's turned into a real celebration holiday. And babka, it's kind of like the feeling that your grandmother, it's the bread that grandma, it's all about homemade. So babka is different all over the place because people make it different. Grandmothers and mothers have different influences. And chopped apples into the babka, or cinnamon and sugar. There's all kinds of ways of doing it. But basically it's a very rich, like brioche type dough. And then you just fill it, which I'm going to show you. And just taking the whole notion of lustfulness, which speaks to your site, right? And bringing it into
Only
the
for food.
right, yeah, that's not, of course.
Yeah.
And so take the rest of the tasting spoons, pass that around, and I'm going to share.
I wonder who's going first.
All right, Sherry, let someone else start.
Oh, absolutely. Better.
All right.
I'd be in skillful.
All right. I will not double dip.
Sorry.
I encourage it. It's quite delicious.
Okay, so babka dough. It's like a brioche dough. Gave you the recipe for it. It's like the nemesis of baguette dough, which is flour, water, salt, yeast. This has, fat, butter, whole butter, really good whole butter, whole eggs, sugar, all the stuff that makes it happen.
Jews like
right?
I said it's all the stuff Jews demand in their bread.
Right.
That's Rebecca.
And who better to make it than a Catholic boy?
That's right.
And then we put in about 5% sourdough. Excuse me. This is one of the things that strings, not all, but a lot of our breads at Panera together is the use of this mother that goes back 23 years to the early days at St. Louis Bread Company. So here, the folks here at this fine place, this is Susan's second child. And so I think she just simply calls it mother, as we say near mother. Right? So this is a live sourdough. We put about 5% into the formula just to give it an extra flavor, an extra texture. Okay, you got to work with this when it's cold, right? And here I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than the size of note paper.
What did you tell your daughter the other day when she was rolling out the gingerbread dough? What was that tip you gave her? It was don't crush the hands, like my hands are underneath.
I always tell her
It was
when I'm
adorable.
teaching her, it's like, pretend daddy's fingers are right there. Like you're pushing down on my fingers, so, because she wants to, lean into it, ruin it. So I'm like, easy, don't hurt my finger, like this joke. And so she's actually learning how to do that, just by simple things like that. So.
Much harder.
Yeah. Oh, daddy's hands? What? No. So, as New Yorkers, one thing we love is coffee cake, right? Most of the country doesn't know much about coffee cake, but this becomes a great platform for different flavor, like a pecan ground smear with some. I grew up in Entenmann's when I was a kid, so those type of coffee cakes. So here, simply about the size of the paper. In this case, you could use the cinnamon smear. This using that ganache that we talked about, right? How was that ganache? Good. Are you still in front of you? Did you pass it? There's other people here. Yeah. Right.
Sorry about that. I meant to.
Do you let it sit for a little while before you use it?
I made that last night. Let it sit just so it's spreadable. You see, that's pretty liquid. But if you just put that into like a cake pan, thin it out a little bit, it would take an hour to be ready to go. You don't want it to be warm at all. And so this is pretty powerful stuff, as you can imagine. Who didn't you taste the chocolate? No. Yeah. Primering for it, or?
Should we pass the ball? There's a spoon. There's a spoon. Bring the spoon over there.
Oh, I like that excuse. Oh, I didn't know they had spoons down there. That's why we didn't pass it down. All right. So I leave a little bit of the dough exposed here, because when I start to roll it, I want chocolate, right? So, keeping it real simple, you take toasted, coarsely chopped pecans. You can sprinkle it over the surface. You can intensify it a little bit. A streusel, crumb topping. You might as well take that, mix it with more sugar and fat, and you come up with something like this.
Are the pecans crucial to this if you have a kid with nut
No,
allergies?
absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah,
Yeah, they didn't have pecans in Russia.
yes. I mean, you want to put things that you can put chocolate chips across here with pastry cream. You can do all kinds of stuff.
My grandma used to do poppy seed.
Yeah.
We were a big poppy seed family.
Yeah.
Mun, they called it. It was
Yeah,
like that
absolutely.
mushy poppy seed.
Yep. And that goes for hamantash and fillings
Yeah.
as well. So here,
Oh, poppy seed's so good.
I was telling Susan for the last couple of years, I'm going to be coming up with it's going to start as a blog. Don't worry, I won't repeat. I have no organizational skills, and it'll go nowhere, but it's just a great idea. I'm going to make all these Jewish specialties, because I have great recipes that I've learned growing up in New York. Great rugula that's better than any Jewish bakery I've been, and it's going to be called Gentile Gone Wild.
Well, I was just saying, Catholic, Jewish, it's sort of the same, and it's the most common mix in New York anyways, to have one parent be Catholic, one parent be Jewish, and
It's
then
just a different form of guilt.
Yeah, exactly. Same mom.
We didn't have that mix. My mother's like Catholic as they get, and my dad's a doctor.
So you were close.
10 kids running around the house.
Ooh.
So that's kind of it, right?
Wow.
You could,
Bless your mom.
This is the last part of it.
So you can just tell the quality of it.
sure.
And part of
That's Jen number 5.
it. I think there's 6 of us.
Really? Please. Don't get them together.
That looks
You could put
easy.
this in a pan like this, essentially, and then just lay it in there and cut it down the middle. You could do it, you could do whatever you want. You could braid it and put it into a circle inside of a pan, right? I'm going to just grab some more of this butter.
That looks pretty simple.
Okay, so as we start winding down this next, why don't we start cutting up the babka that's there? Get that into people's mouths. Okay. this kind of thing. Just, again, between the strata and this, don't get freaked about having the right pan. Or just, so I think one nice way to present it is. Right, so instead of encasing it, hiding it, and you don't see it till you slice it later, is to actually take it and expose it, right? This way.
Wow. You can drizzle more chocolate. More chocolate on top. Can't have
And then what you want to do, egg wash in this case, mix the whole eggs, a little bit of heavy cream, a little bit of salt to help the protein stay nice and strong. I'll touch the dough portions with a little bit of egg wash. So put it into what I do is for a rising box, a proof box, we'll put it into an oven like this. In one like this, you can actually turn the light up. And the warmth from the light is enough. That's all. Depends on your oven, right? And you can take like a little tray of warm water and put it in the bottom just to make a nice little proof box. If your house has 9 ovens like they do here, you can get your choice of ovens, right? So this is going to go in for about 35 to 45 minutes in that 100 degree, between 90 and 100 degree atmosphere. Let it rise, do your test, put it in the oven, and that's Babka.
When it goes in the oven, what degree and for how long?
We are going to put it up at 350 for about between 30 and 40 minutes, depending on the size.
Okay, great.